Hello and welcome back to Bramlage Coliseum once again. I'm Manhattan Mercury sports editor Ryan Black, and I'm here with Greg Woods. We're literally sitting here as they are taking things apart, putting things up. They're about to have graduation here in a few days, but we were here for the men's basketball game tonight. K-State just absolutely obliterated Alabama State, 86-41. Greg, I mean, there's not really much you can say other than the fact that it was just a, buzzer to buzzer, just complete domination by K-State tonight.
It was. They jumped out to a 20-2 lead, which kind of set the tone for the rest of the game. Cruised from there. I wrote about Xavier Sneed in my story tonight. 20 points, 8 of 10 shooting, 4 of 6 from 3. Really great night for him offensively, and a great night for K-State offensively as a team. I mean, they shoot 63% from the field, 55%, 12 of 22 from 3. So, I mean, pretty well-oiled machine on offense tonight, as infrequent as that happens. But 29 assists on 35 made field goals, that kind of says it all as far as the offense goes. So a pretty good way to end their little homestand year before they go off to New Jersey next week.
Well, and that's, I think the thing we have to make sure we say, Greg, is obviously, offense looked great. Defense looked every bit as good. I mean, you look at the stats, Alabama State had twice as many turnovers as assists tonight, 16-8. But this is what we expected, what it should be expected, because Alabama State is a team that came in with a 1-7 record. They're from the SWAC. I mean, there's a reason that these games are scheduled. If you're K-State, it's because you're expecting a win of this kind of margin.
Right.
So it's kind of shifting gears, Greg. Really the big news of the day is that sophomore guard Sean Williams is transferring. The big thing about him was he had to sit out the first 3 games of the season and the 2 preseason exhibitions before that for undisclosed reasons as a suspension, and now he's decided just K-State wasn't the right fit for him anymore. What did you think when you heard about it?
Well, I was surprised. I was kind of off the grid today. I was pretty busy working on some other stuff, so I didn't see it until before tip-off today, and I was shocked, to be honest. But then I thought about it a little more. I was like, man, this guy was suspended for 3 games. Was only getting about 9 minutes a game in the 5 games that he was able to play this season. So I guess when you look at it through that lens, it makes a little bit of sense, maybe from just a playing time perspective. Like, he wasn't getting the playing time. I don't know. That's all speculation. I'm not him. I can't speak for him. But in that sense, it does make a little sense. I don't think it'll impact the team too much, just because he was only playing 9 minutes a game. He wasn't in some sort of integral role with the offense, with the team. So from a personnel standpoint, it might not affect them too much, but it does leave them without another point guard. So we'll see how that affects them moving forward.
I wasn't surprised by the news at all. I mean, I know that I was joking with one of the K-State staffers that there was kind of like a joke about after the suspension happened, like how soon would it be that he leaves? Would it be before Christmas? Would it be in the middle of Big 12 play? Yeah. I think it's just, Greg, anytime you have a suspension like he did, you always wonder, okay, is there something that's going to be lingering here? Does he feel mad that it all happened in the first place? To me, this doesn't compare at all to like the John Holcomb transfer. That was a complete stunner, because he literally just played and got backup snaps the game before, and then announced on Twitter 2 days later that he's leaving. So that was a lot different circumstance. Whereas here, like you said, he had already had to serve a suspension, and he wasn't playing in the starting role, and he just does seem like a guy that probably feels like that he needed to be starting and to be happy. And so I'm going to be interested to see where he ends up. I don't know. Again, at this point, it's St. Louis. That's where he's from. If St. Louis, a team they're about to play, if that's an option, it's going to be very interesting to see what ends up happening there.
Yeah, no, it will. Good luck to him moving forward. Very talented guy. We saw.
Yeah, and he was a good quote a couple of times. I know that we got to talk to him. I talked to him before the preseason. He had a lot of fun with mentioning why he had dropped, because he came here Sean Neal Williams, and then before the season, he just became Sean Williams again. So I never had any problem with him at all. And like I said, you just always hope when guys leave that they're going to do what's best for them, and it ends up working out wherever it is they go.
Yep, we'll see. And then the other news that we wanted to touch on was Montavious Murphy, the freshman who had been dealing with some sort of injury, been trying to get back on the floor, hasn't played since when was the last game he played in?
It was game 3. He's missed the last 5 games.
3, right.
Those are 6 games now. 6 games including tonight.
Right,
so
right.
He's missed.
So it sounds like he's been making some progress. The team is kind of taking it slowly just because he is a freshman. They don't want to take any chances with him. I think Bruce Weber did leave the door open a little bit for him to play even just a tiny bit against Mississippi State on Saturday. I think it will go back to them trying to take it slowly, just to see how he's progressing. And obviously, with 3 years ahead of him, they don't want to take any chances.
For sure. Well, the other thing is Greg, is just the fact that he, again, did start all 3 games.
Right.
So he is a player the coaches have already identified as a key piece for this year's team. And I'll tell you what, they can use every body, and I mean body literally, that they can get Saturday against Reggie Perry, because again, Bruce Weber coached him at the FIBA Under-19 World Cup. He won Most Valuable Player of that tournament. He is a great player. He might end up being the best forward they've faced all year to this point. I'm not gonna say he's better than Marcus Howard, but I'm gonna say he might be the best forward that they've seen to this point. So they're in for a real challenge Saturday. But I think it will be a very evenly matched game. And what I'm sure, if we actually do get to talk to them, because we're not sure yet, folks, of whether we'll have availability before they go, is the talk about, hey, it's going to be a 10:30 a.m. tip-off.
Yeah.
And just kind of how different that is. I mean, I know in a way you might treat it like the NCAA tournament games, where sometimes you have that 11 a.m. tip-off or whatever, depending on where you're at. So they did have maybe some experience with that last year, being out in California, where even though it was a noon local tip-off, it technically would
have been a 10 a.m. tip for their body time.
Yeah, so it's going to be really fascinating to see what happens, Greg. And I mean, we won't be going to Newark. I'll certainly, with like most of the rest of the people who are on the beat, will be watching it on TV and looking to see what happens, because Greg, at this point, I think they have to win out in terms of the non-conference to really feel a little bit decent going into Big 12 play.
Yeah.
And that's Arnie Green asking us over here. We are not going to Newark. Arnie Green, who I actually roomed with out in the NCAA tournament. Arnie's in the background. See, this is him right here. Hey, Arnie. This was not at all planned, but he's another beat writer for K-State. So
neither of us will be there.
Yeah, neither of us will be there.
Like you said, I'll be on the road to Kansas City to cover the women's game.
Yep.
They're playing UMKC. I'm sorry, Kansas City. They are now. Anyway, like you were saying, this will be an important game just because they have lost a few games here in the non-con, which puts a lot of pressure on them to win a lot more games in the Big 12 if they have any chance of making the NCAA tournament. So yeah, they want to, like you said, they do want to win out. That would be huge. They just want to scrape together whatever wins they can get at this point.
Well, and Greg, I think that's a good place to sign off. I mean, again, this is Ryan Black and Greg Woods leaving here from Bramlage Coliseum from an 86-41 just slaughter by K-State tonight over Alabama State. Thanks for tuning in, folks.